All right, after you finish the notes today, let's go through this activity. There's no real right or wrong answers we are going to discuss tomorrow, but I want you to just think of how would each of these events affect your FICO score. Remember that the length of your credit history, the credit mix, the new credit, your payment history, and how much you owe all affect those FICO scores. So Sam is a college junior. He couldn't wait till he turned 21 so he could get a few credit cards. Here are some details. You're going to go through here and type in a plus or a minus on whether you think this is going to affect him positively or negatively. So let's see what you think. Okay, if he currently has 3 credit cards, do you think that's a good or a bad thing? Okay, maybe you think it's good, and then you would put a plus here. Maybe you think it's bad, then you would put a minus here. If he got his first credit card 8 months ago, that's pretty recent. That's probably going to be a negative on his credit report at this time until he earns some more credit history. So I'm going to put a minus this time on that one. If he doesn't have any student loans, I think that could be considered a positive. If he has applied for 5 credit cards but only had 3 accepted, the fact that there's only 5, that he applied 5 times, that probably is a negative right now. But it's been a year, so maybe that's a plus. He opened up his last credit card 4 months ago. That's a negative because it's so recent. All 3 of his cards have a balance. That's a negative because you want to try to pay them off each month, and he's having trouble. He has $4,000 outstanding on all his cards. That could be a plus or a minus depending, but since his balances are high, it's not a plus for him now. He missed a payment in the last 3 months. That's the big no, big negative. He has no cards currently past due, so that's a positive. His credit card balances of $4,000 are about 65%. Remember, we want to try to keep it to 50 to 30% or less. He's never gone through bankruptcy. That is a good news. What do you think Sam's credit score is? You're going to guess. Do you think he's like a 500 because of those negatives and the positives? Do you think he's like a 600? You then are going to go to the credit score estimator and enter the information and then see if it's anywhere near what you guessed. So Sam has 2 to 4 cards. How long ago? 4 months ago, so less than 6 months. How long did you get your first loan? Within the last year. How many loans or credit cards have you? 3 to 5. How recently have you opened up a new? Between 3 and 6 months ago. How many of your loans have a balance? All of them. Besides mortgage loans, what are your total balances? He's got $4,000. Did you miss a loan or credit card? Oh, he did. I can't remember. Was it 6 months ago? He missed a payment in the last 3 months. That is not good. Let's go put that in. And what is the most delinquent you've ever been? Just a 30-day. How many are currently past? None of them. What credit card limits do you have right now? He said 65%. And in the last 10 years, have you ever expired bankruptcy repossession? No. His credit score is between 575 and 625. And so looking back at what we guessed, how'd you do? What does this say about his credit worthiness? Basically, there is just not a long enough history on Sam yet. So his credit worthiness is unknown until he establishes more time on his cards. The fact that he had a recent late does not help. As his credit counselor, what would you say? Try to get the balances down below 50% of the max allowed. or try to pay them off. Definitely don't make any more lates. All right, you're going to do the same thing with Jessica. Go through and determine if you think it's a plus or a minus. Guess on her credit score, do the estimator. What do you think that means about her credit worthiness, and what would you recommend for her? And finally, Danielle, pluses or minuses, guess the credit score, see what her real score is. What does it say? What would you recommend? You're going to go through all those and we'll go over them tomorrow together.